Sunil, it's a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you.
It's your conference, you're the chair for this third annual conference. I want to take you back to India because that is the topic of the day and discussion. Right. And India, as everybody acknowledges, is a booming power. How do you see India's young generation leveraging the opportunities that are available to them both within India and outside India?
So it's actually a unique time for India at this moment, because India is a country which really seems free of all the shackles it's had now for a few hundred years. The reform which started in India in the early 90s has resulted in changes taking place so much that the ambition and aspirations of India and Indians is to be amongst the world leaders now. So Indian companies have started reaching out. The large companies are now increasingly getting into import, export, manufacturing, trading around the world. And at the same time, the other unique opportunity which has opened is for new enterprises to get set up, to startups. So the government is encouraging it, universities and colleges are encouraging it, families are encouraging it. So there is a real perceptible shift, because for long we've said one of our big challenges in India is creating enough economic opportunities and jobs. If you create a job, you create one job. If you facilitate an entrepreneur, he or she creates 1, 5, 10 or 5,000 jobs. So for us, that is truly the magic sauce at this moment, because the opportunities have really opened up, and the opportunities are pretty much across the board to be able to use new knowledge and technology to serve areas as wide as healthcare, education, transportation, logistics, food processing. So it's pretty much across the board. And our demographics make it even easier to address large markets. We had some challenges which are gradually and increasingly getting addressed. Challenges like taxation, states working as independent economic entities. So by introducing a common goods and services tax, India has turned itself into one common market for the first time. And overall, the reform that has been taking place has continued to accelerate. In the last 3 years, we've seen significant and dramatic change take place, including scrapping about 1,000 laws which were irrelevant in today's world, but just to make things easier. So ease of doing business and now ease of living are two important measures where the country measures itself, and the states have created a competitive environment, a positive competitive environment, which try and get better than each other.
You run a fairly large organization, a very successful, one of the leading brands in India, the Hero Enterprise. As a leader, when you look across the board, you have to nurture other leaders, you have to empower them. So the leader's role is not just about you positioning yourself at the top, but inculcating that value into the mainstream of your organization. And I want to learn from you, what are some of the things that you do to inspire leadership?
So we have been quite fortunate in our businesses. Right from the early days, the businesses grew because the people who worked in the companies have been the real strength. And very often when you go around our companies, you'll hear the word family over and over again. This is run like one large family. So most people believe they're working for themselves. They are encouraged not only to be enterprising, they're actively encouraged even to make mistakes. All we say is, make new mistakes constantly. Don't make the old ones. That's not smart. And you can also learn from other people's mistakes. But the attempt and the aspiration to constantly improve has also allowed us to create high productivity. And that has also come from the kind of leaders we've had in the companies. Our focus is not on hiring the highest profile individual from another company, is to hire people who will understand the cultural nuances of what we do. That on the one hand, we focus on high efficiency, high productivity, high growth, because many of our businesses turned out and became the largest in the world. At the same time, the value system and the philosophy is equally, if not more important. Focus on people, focus on integrity, focus on doing the right thing, focus on ensuring that you are in sync with the community and the environment, and not just off and on, but all the time.
Again, related to your enterprise, and my next question is about innovation and entrepreneurship when it comes to startups. So there are two ways big companies do, either organic growth or inorganic, when you go and acquire other innovative companies. And when we talk to startup, they're always looking at companies like yours to see how we can get a foot in the door, to see how we can assimilate together the technology or the business processes, etc. How do you look at acquiring innovation?
So there are three different things that we do. One is encouragement within the company, as I said, for people to experiment, and we recognize people who do something special, and the same recognition is given to people who tried and failed, because we are recognizing the attempt to do better. The second thing we've done is, in our network of supply chain partners, dealers and distributors, we've always encouraged innovation. And third, now through our family office, we are actively engaging with innovation through the startups, and we are both investing in, mentoring and supporting a significant number of them across a pretty wide spectrum, because our belief is that if you can support and help businesses which will have massive social positive impact, those which show potential to become leaders in their chosen fields, and those which have some relevance to what we understand. So we also only pick those areas in which we bring something to the table more than money.
Right.
So either our experience, knowledge, our connections can help the business, then it's a good candidate for us to look at, not otherwise.
Yeah. Finally, then, for this conference, this is the third in a row, as I said earlier. How has been your experience? What have been the achievements, and what do you look for in the coming years?
So the US-India conference here is a partnership between All India Management Association and the Haas Business School at UC Berkeley. This has been a great partnership. Solomon from the Haas Business School has been the focal point from Berkeley, and Rekha from IMA and the team have done a tremendous job. And we've done two things together. We don't just do the conference. We spend 3 days visiting some of the most innovative companies in the valley and in the area. So last year, for example, we went to Tesla, Facebook, Google X, NVIDIA, etc., etc. This year we've been to Byton, we've been to NASA, we've been to Verily, we've been to Gilead Sciences. So it's all about looking at how you can create a massive benefit by looking at technology, innovation, and the combination of human enterprise and technology together. So this conference then comes and lays out what the opportunities are in this corridor between US and India. Opportunities for Indians to come and do things here, and opportunities for Americans to work with India. Because India is not just the fastest growing large economy in the world. It also presents opportunities pretty much across the board. And many of these things have been done well in the US because it has an institutional strength, and it has a culture of innovation. And I think there are things for both of us to learn from and both of us to benefit from. And I do believe this conference brings in some top-end talent for the audience to interact with, not just listen to, but also have a chance to talk to them. As you know, we had a session just now with John Chambers, and people didn't want it to finish. So we allowed it to run over time. We now have Vivek Wadhwa, who's an amazing thinker and futurologist in this session. So every session will bring something special to the people. So the take-home value is not just for the hour or 2 or 3 you spend here, but some value post this. And we also help people to connect with each other, and we hope that they will make friends and do things with each other later on.
No, it's been a great job. I think it's a great conference. This is my 3rd year also participating at the conference. So thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.